It's been about a year now since I did my bug out bag video, so I thought I'd just do an update of some equipment that I've upgraded and replaced. But before I go on, I want to make clear that, and I probably should have said this in my last video, that I wouldn't necessarily take all of that equipment all the time in any given situation. It's you know, more a case of common sense. I mean, I know, you know, you can't carry everything, so depending on the emergency and on the situation, I'd pick and choose what equipment out of the load that I've got that I would actually take with me. You know, I mean, so say there's a flood or something like that, I'm probably not going to bother taking a gas mask with me. So you know, bear that in mind. And not all of this equipment here is for bug out bag necessarily either. It's just emergency equipment in general that I keep around the house and I find useful. Anyway, I'll get started. First off, I got these hand warmers, and they last for about 45 minutes each, and I've got 2 of them, and you can get about 1,000 uses out of them. So unless you're using them for work every day, they should last you a long time. Basically all you do is there's a little metal thing in there that you click like that, and it gives off a chemical, and as you can see, the liquid in there is solidifying, and that gets pretty warm. And to make it go back to liquid again so you can reuse it, you have to just put it in boiling water for 10 minutes. And they really do get quite warm. I don't know if you can see it on there. Emits heat up to a maximum of 55 degrees centigrade for up to 30 minutes, though I found that actually, as I say, keep warm for about 45 minutes. So they're quite useful, really. Not the most exciting bit of survival equipment, but I think they're quite handy. Sharpie, lots of people have these. It's a double-edged one, it's got a fine tip one end, thicker tip the other. I got a new angle torch, which is LED. I'd had one of the old style ones. It was a lot bigger and heavier and had the old style bulbs, and it wasn't anywhere near as bright as this one. Show you there. Also do Morse code on it, but also with this one, rather than having to unscrew this to change the bulb, if you want it to be different colours like on the old style ones, you just flick a switch and it changes the colour of the light. See, that's red, even though it looks a bit orangey there. Green, blue, then back to regular LED. That's quite bright. And like I say, it's a lot smaller and lighter than the old style angle torches. Even though for a long-term emergency, I think wind-up torches are the way to go, because obviously you don't have to worry about batteries. It does still pay to have a couple of decent battery torches, because they tend to be a lot brighter than the wind-up ones. So if just for a few moments you need a really bright light, it's handy to have a couple of these around. I've got another one here, just small. Well, that's pretty bright as well. And the batteries obviously aren't going to last forever on those, but it's handy to have a couple of really bright torches. And as for wind-up ones, I've got this one here, which it's got a magnetic bottom on it, which is pretty strong. I mean, I've had this hanging upside down before, so that can come in useful if you've got it on a sloping bit of metal like your car bonnet or whatever. It's got a panel of lights there, and you have the middle light on there, or all of the lights on like that. And it's pretty bright really for a wind-up torch, easy to wind, so that's quite handy for long-term lighting. A lantern here, which you have to charge it for about 2 minutes to get a decent light out of it, and because of the shape of it, it can be quite awkward to wind, but it's still quite useful really. See there, but it does discharge quite quickly when you're not using it. I charged that up the other day, and I haven't used it since, but now it's quite low again, so it's not all that good. It's got a little compass on the top there, just a little gimmick. I've got a decent water filter, which is very important, and it's something that I've been wanting to get for a long time. This is a first aid one. I can't remember what the actual model name of it's called now, but it's pretty good one. I've done a separate review on this. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. I'll put a link to the video that's solely about that. up in this one. I've got a GPS, which is quite handy for if you need rescuing, so it'll give you your exact location and your latitude. If you obviously keep track of where you've been with waypoints, you can hopefully find your way out of any situation where you've been lost anyway. But that's quite a useful thing to have, not necessarily in the end of the world, but you know, just for basic survival if you're on holiday or travelling. Got a night vision binocular, which is more just for me to play around with, if I'm honest, but could come in handy. The magnification's not that great on it. It was only an £80 one, which is pretty cheap for night vision, but it does the job. Glow sticks. Now these will last. One of these will last you all night, and they're pretty cheap to buy. I mean, I've got 3 for £1, so that's 3 nights light for £1. So they're quite handy to have, and you can use them underwater, or if it's, you know, raining heavily, don't have to worry about them, you know, like a candle being put out by the rain or the electronic torches being damaged by it. Got a load of candles, though I don't really find candles all that useful. A candle like this only tends to last about an hour before it's completely melted away. So for long-term power outages, you'd have to have so many candles stored up. I just don't really think it's worth it, to be honest. I'd rather deal with the wind-up torches. Got antibacterial gel. It's quite handy to have. Got quite a few of those. Got this wind-up radio, which the last wind-up radio I had was just a cheap one I got hold of, which weren't too bad, but the charge didn't last very long and it wasn't very robust. But this one is a pretty tough radio, made of decent plastic. Once again, I've done a separate video on this, so I won't go into too much detail about it, but it is a nice little radio, solar powered as well as wind-up. Got some food grade bottles because I was using just old Gatorade bottles before, but after a year or two they do tend to degrade apparently and let off chemicals into your water, and they're just not as strong anyway, so it's handy to have some decent bottles. I've got another bottle here which has got another filter on it, but it's nowhere near as good as the first aid one. Yeah, I'd still have to use water purification tablets with this, so, but it's still better than nothing. Got one of these mugs as well, finally, for boiling water. So now I've got water filter, water purification tablets, and a means of boiling water, so there should be no excuse for me not getting myself some clean water in an emergency. Got one of these emergency whistles. It's got a compass on the end, a little flint rod, which is pretty useless because it's so small and because of where it's situated, but you might be able to get a few sparks out of it if you're lucky, I guess. A decent enough whistle on it. And the compass does work pretty well, even though it's probably not the most accurate. But really, it's best is just a waterproof match container, because it really is waterproof. And everyone should have a waterproof match container, really. Nice and brightly coloured, so you're not going to lose it, hopefully. A pot of seeds as well is something that because I'm quite into gardening anyway and growing my own fruit and veg, but for a survival situation it is handy to have a little stockpile of fruit and vegetable seeds, so you've got the ability to grow your own food. There's quite a few different ones in there. Most of them I got for free. You find things on the internet that are giving them away. And I've upgraded my first aid kit as well. It's a bit bigger, it takes up a bit more room in my pack, but you know, there's no point having a first aid kit if it's not going to be a decent first aid kit with enough stuff that you need, so I think it's worth taking up a bit of extra room with that. Anyway, that's about it really. It's not really that much equipment I've updated and replaced, but some people have been asking me to do an update video, so I just thought I would. And hopefully you'll have found it interesting, especially gearheads, just to see a few different bits and bobs like that. So anyway, yeah, I'll put the links into the water filter and the solar powered radio video as well, so take a look at them if you fancy it.